Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is East Lyme First Selectman Paul Formica. He is a regular on the show. He is a local business owner, a politician, but we're not going to hold that against him. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Formica.
Thank you so much, Mr. Murphy. Pleasure to be here.
That's a lot to fit on a business card, by the way.
Yeah, they have two sides.
That's right. That's right. So, for those watching around the state that maybe for some reason or another may not be familiar with the town of East Lyme, tell them a little bit about it. Paint a picture for them.
Well, the East Lyme is at the gateway to Mystic Coast and Country at the intersection of 95 and 395. We have a mile and a half of pristine beaches. We have two villages, the Flanders Village up in the north end that borders the farming community and the hiking community, and down in Niantic. We have the Niantic Village, you may recall, this year's fan favorite town for the state of Connecticut.
Congratulations for that, by the way.
We're out there defending our title.
That's right.
So you want to come out, check our village out so you can vote for us for the fan favorite town. And you know, I've been first selectman about 7 years. We have boating and fishing and business and just a great opportunity. Housing, it's a nice place to live, raise your kids, great school system, and you know, I'm excited to live there.
And is it a town that's just small enough to be country-esque, but at the same time close enough to enough commercial to be considered, or close to a city? So you're kind of like right there, one way or the other.
Well, you know, as I said, we're at the gateway. So you know, you can hit Norwich, you can hit New London for the larger spots. You can hit Saybrook, Westbrook down the shore. But you're 2 hours from New York, 2 hours from Boston, and you know, we're 18,000 people, give or take. In the summertime, we go to maybe 30,000. People come down to rent cottages and go to the beaches, and so we have a vibrant downtown and a beach community, and that kind of sustains our business community for the entire year. And you know, every year as things start developing out here at southeastern Connecticut, the shoulder seasons get a little bit longer. So you know, we do a little bit better in April and May and September and October. So then we have Celebrate East Lyme, which we're going to talk about, brings a lot of folks, and our famous light parade, which is the 26th year of, you know, lit floats going down the first Saturday or Sunday in December, and you know, it highlights the community. We
meaning my radio station, do a lot of parades in the region throughout the year, and I got to tell you, the Niantic parade is probably, if not the best, one of the best, the biggest, most lights. It seems like the most people attend. It's famous.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fantastic event, and we're glad to be a part of that too. So you mentioned Niantic. People might not be aware that Niantic, again, you had mentioned it before, is part of East Lyme. It's a village of East Lyme. Is that what it is?
It's kind of a borough. There's actually two zip codes. Niantic has its own zip code. East Lyme has its own zip code. But East Lyme is the 36 square mile town. Niantic Village is along the beach line, the railroad tracks right there. You know, the Morton House has been there for 80 years. But anything south of I-95 is considered Niantic, and anything north is considered Flanders or East Lyme. So, but Niantic it's funny, the fan favorite town we talked about, Niantic came in first, East Lyme was like 22nd or something, you know, because people weren't putting the whole town together, and everybody was so excited about the renovations to Niantic, the new sidewalks and street lamps and the granite curbing and, you know, all of that stuff that, you know, people want to be there. It's a nice pedestrian friendly area. The restaurants all have, you know, areas to sit outside. So it's, you know, it's a fun
How's
place.
that big drawbridge over there doing in Niantic?
Well, we just completed, Amtrak just completed the new swing bridge. After 100 years of the old swing bridge, and we actually have...
Took them a while to get to that,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. Well, you know, it's hard to see from Washington, you know.
Without binoculars,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So, you know, we took a few sprockets and chain links from the old bridge, and we're going to build a little monument to it. But they just did this wonderful swing bridge, doubled the size of the entry to the channel, where we have 2,500 boats, so that makes it easier for access. But it's beautiful. And they had to move the track 58 feet south to match the new bridge, as they built the new bridge before they took the old bridge out of service because they couldn't stop the train. So, In the process, they dismantled our boardwalk and had to rebuild it as part of their rebuilding process. So we have now 50% of our 1 mile boardwalk open, built to 100-year storm protection through a federal stimulus program. Amtrak actually got a check handed to them by Joe Biden way back when, 4 or 5 years ago. So
I was going to ask you, how much is the town involved in a project like Amtrak, a federal thing? But the fact that it goes through your town means you're involved in some capacity.
Well, you're very involved in the sense that, East Lyme's community is my responsibility, and in that particular section, we had to balance the needs of Amtrak, which certainly a 100-year-old bridge, you need to upgrade your infrastructure, with the needs of the commercial fishing industry, the boating industry, the recreational boating industry, all the marinas. That's their big season.
Yeah.
And so you can't compromise that. So Amtrak was wonderful in working with us in terms of closing and opening the blockage, because they had to have barges with cranes on there. I mean, it's a serious event, building a steel bridge. So they did a remarkable job. And so we were involved in the beginning and negotiated some of the, the way things ended up. And so we ended up at that end a beautiful boardwalk situation, beautiful bridge, and we're beginning the other half of the boardwalk, which was destroyed by Sandy. So construction is underway for that now, and hopefully
it's not man-made; it's nature that does something, right?
Yeah.
Now, by next year, will 100% of the boardwalk be ready?
Well, we hope to have the steel bulkhead in on our half, which is the half from the hole-in-the-wall beach down to match up to the Amtrak side. Hope to have that done by October, November, and then it's going to be pouring concrete on the top to match it. And if the weather is warm enough and they get far enough along this year, they'll do it. If not, it'll be April when the weather warms up. So by this time next year, we might be doing a show down on the boardwalk.
And it's funny. We had the folks from the Musquamacut Beach area on, and they are just wrapping up sort of the last minute, and maybe in some little bits still wrapping up repairing stuff from Sandy. It's amazing the shoreline towns and whatever we all had to go through because of that storm.
Oh, we had roads down in that area just completely disintegrated, and telephone poles just down, and we had one little beach community right off the water there, just a little bit west of where the boardwalk ends, with maybe a dozen homes up on a seawall that the water came up over the 12-foot seawall, went through the houses, and deposited 4 feet of sand on the road on the other side of the house.
Wow.
So just incredible destruction, and it takes time to get,
like FEMA money, yeah.
Well, the paperwork and the people involved and all of that, it takes a lot of time to get it there, and then to affect the repairs takes some time.
And East Lyme wasn't even one of the more damaged locations compared to some of the other places in the region, because you can imagine what they must have had to go through. Yeah. It's amazing. So, East Lyme, beautiful shoreline town, very country-esque, picturesque, great in the fall and the summer, by the way. But, it's a growing community, especially in the summer, and a little bit of business will pop up here and there. For example, maybe you've been following along in the news if you follow stuff going on in East Lyme. One of the things is the Gateway Project. If that sounds familiar, why don't you tell them what the Gateway Project is?
Well, we named the Gateway Project back when I was on zoning, the chairman of zoning in the late 90s, which is that area just off exit 74. The old Shack restaurant, the driving range is there. There's a couple 100 acres of property there that had been sitting. Some was inaccessible, some because of frontage problems, but it's really the last commercial piece of any significance in the town of East Lyme. And in 2008, the Zoning Commission approved a master plan development that included 280 apartments in the back end and 425,000 square feet of retail in the front end that borders 161. And as part of that, it has to create a complete update and renovation of the interchange. Exit 74, if you've been there, you may know, you're coming 60 miles an hour down the highway, you got about 11 feet to turn around that corner.
That's true, it's pretty tight there.
Yeah, and it's one of the few unsignalized interchanges in the state. So that's going to be straightened out to an access road, 2 new lights. Costco is signed on.
That's the big thing. That's the big, and there hasn't been a Costco around here, so that's a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's And just to give you an idea, 425,000 square feet of retail. Costco might take 175,000 of that. So that leaves 250,000 for miscellaneous stores and, not to mention names, but, Borders or something like that, Bed Bath & Beyond, they might be 50,000. Just to give the folks a sense of what might be there.
Yeah.
Restaurants, some of the larger chains are between 6,000 and 10,000. So that'll be filled out there off the access road, and Costco will be the draw. And we just, before this morning's taping, I was out doing a groundbreaking for the apartments out there. They're beginning to build 10 apartment buildings with 28 apartments in each in the very back.
Does it kind of look like condo style apartment?
It's going to be more block
Okay.
housing style, and it will fit a demographic need for housing in the area. Young couples with small children, and people my age that may be wanting to get out of their homes and don't want to buy into a community.
You saying you're old? Is that what you're saying?
No, I just said my age. I'm 27.
Yeah, right. Right,
so
right.
yeah.
It's the HD, by the way, you're on now.
Yeah.
So so that's exciting, and that means growth, and that means revenue, and that means one thing that popped into my mind is your neighbors, Waterford. You saw what they used to be, much more rural, and tons of commercial businesses in there now. Do you want East Lyme to sort of resemble Waterford at some point? Maybe not as much. Do you know what I mean by that?
No, we have a different personality. What we've been trying to do is to develop the personality of each individual village. Niantic Village is, been redone, and it has its own feel. It has its own style, and that's what we want to keep. Because we're finding actually a lot of folks want to be moving downtown now. So there's a lot of that. Flanders, is it more of a commercial section? It's not quite as pedestrian friendly, but it borders, maybe 25 family farms in the northern end. So there's hiking and there's that type of feel up there. Well, we don't have much room for commercial activity. We have Liberty Way, which is up near the Rocky Neck State Park, that's got, some high-end commercial and low-end commercial and not very much industrial. But this particular opportunity is more of a single unit development of significant size. And I think that'll be the end of it, because we don't have
Good
any
point. You
more
can't go any
opportunity to
further.
go really anywhere else. In Niantic, most of the commercial came from what was residential years ago. Even my business was a single family home that was renovated, and there's a lot of those in some of the towns like East
I'll
Lyme.
let you plug Flanders Fish Market because it's delicious, by the way.
Thanks. I didn't want to say Flanders Fish Market on the TV without your permission.
No, it's delicious. And so listen, it's a local. Whenever we can mention local, that's always a good thing too. We love that. Well, right now we're going to take a break, and we've got a lot more to get to. Did you want to give a website out for people to go and look? We're going to get into Celebrate East Lyme. We'll put a graphic up on the screen too.
Well, yeah, all of those things that we talked about, the projects, and there's a lot of information, including Celebrate East Lyme, at eltownhall.com. And our website got hacked about 6 months ago, completely destroyed it.
No kidding.
But our
Wow.
IT people have worked hard. They've just come up with a brand new site, so I think you'll be happy when you go out there. And it's eltownhall.com. So, take a look while we're on break, and we'll be back.
All right. He said it. We will be right back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay with us. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. We are chatting with East Lyme First Selectman Paul Formica. Man, when you hear him chat about East Lyme and Niantic, what's not to like about it? Especially this time of year, summertime, shoreline town, big doings with the Gateway project coming, and Costco. There just hasn't been one ever around here, so congratulations on that. What's the finish date planned for everything?
Well, as I said, the apartments are groundbreaking. They're building them now. They expect the first 2 or 3 buildings to be occupied in the back by the fall, late fall. Costco most likely will come in early 2015 with their approvals, and then it's site plan approval. So it might be 8, 10, 12 months from now, from this date. You'll see Costco going.
Just like you said, these things take time,
Well, they take
Roll 'em in a
time,
day,
and these are big companies, and this, Costco was looking at multiple towns: Waterford, East Lyme, Old Saybrook, and you know, our feeling was when you have a regional store like that, let's locate it in our town. Let's get those tax dollars, which when this project is complete, if it's built to the 2008 approved master plan, it's going to generate almost $1.5 million, $1.75 million of property tax revenue to the town.
When those big guys want to come into your town, do they usually try to negotiate advantageous tax arrangements for themselves for the sake of like bringing jobs to the area, things like that?
Well, you know, they ask that, but I'm not a believer in giving businesses that are new, no matter how big, tax incentives, because I think, you know, it's incumbent on us as government officials and as business people to create an environment where people want to be. Let's make it so that they have a customer base that's going to serve them, and we don't have to give them property tax credits, because what do you do for businesses that have been there 20 years?
Right.
And, you know, worked hard over the years and established a business, and, you know, you're giving somebody new a credit and somebody that's been there not, and it just doesn't sit right with me. So they ask, and I just say, listen, I think you'll find if you investigate our Niantic Village, our Flanders area, you'll find you'll want to be here because it's a good market, it's a good location, it's a safe place to be, and it'll be beneficial for your business.
You know, the thing about that is you say no, but they still come. So there really must be something to what you said. They must investigate it and find out that even without the tax incentives, it's still a place they want to be.
Well, we've had, you know, modest tax increases over the last 7 years. We've tried to look at things through the set of business eyes, which more and more mayors and first selectmen are doing, and you know, certainly we need to do that in the upper levels of government, and to make things efficient and make things economically sound, and to make sure that our, you know, residents and customers, if you will, you know, have money in their pocket to spend and grow the economy, and to just simply enjoy their life and the benefits of what they've earned.
It's amazing what the difference is, the significant differences is in mill rates from one town to the other, even sitting right next to. So you can have a town that has double the mill rate of the town sitting right next to it because of various reasons.
Yeah, you know, it depends on what's there. As you talked about other towns, you know, draws and beaches and all of those different communities. And, you know, East Lyme's fortunate. We have the farms, we have the beaches, we have commercial, we have residential. So, you know, we have a nice mix.
One of the other projects that you spearheaded was very interesting, and we talked about this when you were on the show one of the other times, and that was the big water project where you literally share water with one of the other towns. It was New London, I believe, right? Talk about that and where it is now.
We do. You know, when I first got elected in 2007, we had a campaign. We did many of these types of venues and talked about all of the issues that you'd talk about, and not one time did we talk about water and a problem the town had with water. And I get elected, and a couple of months into it, the water utility engineer comes up and says, we have to do our annual mandatory water conservation. I said, what's that about? And because of stream flow conditions and wells next to the streams, when the stream falls below a certain level, we're mandated by permit from the state to turn our producing wells off. And it costs us 900,000 gallons of water a day. And it happens when this time of year comes around. You get hot, you get dry, and the wells. So you talked about the number of people that come into our town in the summer. So we lose 900,000 gallons of water, but our population increases.
It doesn't seem to make sense.
So the need goes up. So what we did was took a page out of the far west, where they call water banking. And in East Lyme, we have a excess of water from September 15th to May 15th. So we came up with this idea to build a pipe to the London treatment plant, the base of their system, and we'll send 150,000 gallons of water over there a day between September 15th and May 15th. It's about 30 million gallons. And then we'll draw that back in the summertime. So it's a net neutral arrangement with New London. We give them the water, they give it back to us, less a little evaporation. And what it does is two things. It stops the water shortfall because we can handle it now, we have the water, but more importantly, it's an economic development stimulator because now we have 12-month water. And we talked about the Gateway Project. The Gateway Project is a new water hookup and would not have been able to happen if it weren't for the water project. And yet this one project, I talked about $1.5 million of tax revenue from this one project, will pay for the water project of $10 million 3 times over. So one needs to happen for the other to happen, and that's what government's about, the series of pieces that you put together to try to make it efficient.
One other thing I want to ask you about, and my staff doesn't think, they think I should give up the dream, but it's my show, and I'm going to ask it anyway. The possibility of the completion of Route 11, is that still a pipe dream? Will it ever happen? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think Route 11 needs to happen. Certainly, we either have to widen I-95 or we have to, move Route 11. The problem is it got into a political realm. There was a bike path that somehow got written into the mix. And, as a member of the East Lyme, government, we have a seat on the Greenway Commission. And I'm just not in favor of spending federal dollars on a bikeway if we needed a road. If we want to do a bikeway, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But this is about building a road.
Right. It's about completing Route 11, 295. I think it intersects right where 395 and 95 are.
Yeah.
It basically is southeastern Connecticut being able to have a straight highway to Hartford.
Straight highway, but also you talk about an outlet to
Right.
get out, a bypass to get around. Another opportunity, because we all know the traffic on I-95 stinks.
Right.
And 2 lanes, it's difficult. So do I think it's going to happen? I think it will happen. I think we need kind of a change of philosophy in our transportation thinking in order for it to happen. But it's a lot of money. And right now, governments are strapped, federally and state, and that's part of the problem.
Let's talk happier thoughts. Let's talk Celebrate East Lyme. What is it?
Celebrate East Lyme. Now, you're probably too young to remember going back to 2001.
Well, you're only 27, though, you said.
But remember when they had the tall ships come?
Sure.
And the tall ships came to New London way back when, I think 2000 or 2001.
But they also came to your town, too.
And what they did was they moored in the harbor, getting ready for this parade of sail to New London. And so on that day they moored in our harbor, the then First Selectman Wayne Fraser decided to have a festival of sorts. And he closed the street, and everybody came down and looked at the boats. And from that seed grew Celebrate East Lyme. And every year after that, we've closed downtown Niantic, Main Street from the intersection of Pennsylvania Avenue up to the Children's Museum. We have 200 vendors. We have all kinds of activities, music, activities day and night, the night before. And from 3 in the afternoon on Saturday, July 19th to 9 at night, we have this festival. We get about 30,000 people show up. Dominion sponsors our fireworks display for 25 minutes at 9 o'clock at night. So it's just a great, great fun time.
It sounds like, it sounds something similar that New London does, Sailfest, really, and then kind of culminates with Groton. But I love the area, the region, doing these things, taking advantage of the nice weather, summer months, activities where you're gathering many large amounts of people to an area to just celebrate and enjoy, the season.
And it's not just, a lot of these other festivals, you walk up and down the street,
Right.
you eat too much,
Right.
and
You can never eat too much, but go ahead.
Yeah. But some of the things that we do, for example, at Celebrate East Lyme, we have a paddleboard demonstration. The local Marine is going to go out and show people how to work a paddleboard. We have a lot of children's activities that include a magic show, yoga classes on the green. Here you go. Maybe you and I can do this.
Okay.
It's called a monster eating contest.
Done.
Giuliano's
You might as well
Breakfast.
just hand me the trophy right now.
They have the best egg sandwich breakfast you ever saw, and they make it, it's about this size, and whoever eats it
I
wins.
accept that challenge.
All right,
All right.
so Sean and I,
Yeah.
July 19th, monster eating. The dunk tank, which we do for the Heart Association, I'm always in there.
I was going to ask you if you're going to be there.
So when I beat you in
Right.
the other one, you can dunk me in the
yeah.
dunk tank. But we raise money for the Heart Association. The Rocky Neck Heart Walk is coming up in October. I am the co-chair this year of that. There's the carnival, St. John's Green. There's a sandcastle sculpture contest in the morning where all of Hole in the Wall Beach, you can sign up, bring your family, your business, your friends, your neighborhood, and get a little area, and you build your sandcastle sculpture, and you get judged on that. And, all kinds of stuff, food, crafts, jewelries. And the big highlight of the music this year is we're having the Connecticut Army Band.
Nice.
Which is a band of some significance.
Yeah.
And
they go around the country
They
touring.
go around
yeah.
the country, and they're going to be playing from 7:30 to 9 that evening. There'll be 3 or 4 different areas where music is being played. So it's just a full service festival.
Give me the dates.
July 19th, Saturday, it's always the 29th Saturday of the year.
Okay, good stuff.
July 19th, 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 9 at night. Parking will be limited on Main Street from the morning so that we can get ready to get set up, and the booths and vendors
But
will
there'll
show
be a
up.
place for people to
There's
park.
plenty of off-street parking and a lot of other parking around there. We built a lot of stuff. So celebrate East Lyme, and it's eltownhall.com. Come on down. There's no cost to get in. It's family fun at its best, and and you come down and you can watch Sean and I at the monster eating contest.
You might as well not even go to that because we've already decided that we're co-champions. But come and enjoy the freakish event that it will be because of us.
It would be scary.
And that's why they call it Monster. And also, Celebrate East Lyme has a Facebook page too, where people can go and it's a lot more interactive too, so people can go and learn.
And our great Park and Rec department has kind of taken over this event. Mike McDowell is the contact person, and they just do a wonderful job. They do a lot of special events there. It's going to be McCook's will be open. That's where you can sit up and watch the fireworks. There's a band up there, and so anything. The Park and Rec Facebook page is probably a good place to start. And the town hall, and we look forward to a great day.
Celebrate East Lyme. Hope you can be a part of it. We will. First Selectman of East Lyme, Paul Formica, as always, a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for another edition of For the Record. You can see this show and many others on our YouTube site. We will see you next time. Take care.